Hey everyone, it's Peter with the Garden Family. It is February 17th, and mid-February is when we start most of our cool weather plants with a target plant date of April 1st. So what do I mean by cool weather plants? These are plants that can withstand a frost, usually down into temperatures of the high 20s Fahrenheit. So let me show you what we are growing. A lot of these are going to be the Brassica family plants. If you see somebody say a Brassica family, it's because all of these plants were derived from a mustard type plant, some lineage back, and those are things like cabbage, kale, broccoli, cauliflower. They're all considered Brassica plants. All right, so let's see what varieties we're growing this year. So for cabbage, early Jersey Wakefield, that was a cabbage we grew last year and it did pretty well. That's a pretty nice cabbage. The other is this Farao. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but this one we researched from Johnny's and thought it would do well for us. Just a quick aside, we grow in Southwest Ohio, planting zone 6B that recently changed from 6A. And like I said, we have a target plant date of April 1st. So we want to start these about 6 weeks before that time. Also for reference, our average last frost is about the end of April, around April 23rd, although we don't plant our warm weather plants until early May. All right, let's keep going with this. As far as broccolis go, Green Magic, excited about that one. We also have Purple Magic, which is a purple-headed broccoli. We have not grown this. If you've grown it, let us know in the comments. We're excited about it. Next one is Emerald Crown. We actually grew this last fall, and we were very, very happy with it. So I can show you. That looks great. So hopefully it will do well in the spring also. And the last one is the Sun King hybrid. This one supposedly does well in warm weather, and we do tend to get pretty warm really quickly, so that might help with any sort of bolting from hot weather. All right, cauliflowers. We grew one alternative colored cauliflower last year, and then we have a few more we're going to try this year. So that one that we grew last year was lavender. Just absolutely beautiful cauliflower and did really well also. But we're also going to try this clementine, which is more of a yellow-orange cauliflower. And then a couple white cauliflowers. Amazing, sort of a tried and true. That one's worked well for us. Looks great. And then we're going to try this early white hybrid, pretty quick to maturity, only 52 days, which is great. All right, last of the brassicas that we're starting is just kale. We like dinosaur kale, and we just like that a lot more than the curly one for how we use it. All right, other things that we're growing starting now with the target plant date of early April. A couple Asian greens. These can withstand frosts. So tatsoi, and then this is a pak choi. We grew both of these last year and we were very happy with them. They mature pretty quickly too. All right, two other groups of plants that we're growing. One is beets. We really like beets. And I have a lot of older seeds, and this year I've decided I'm actually going to try a variety of beets and sort of pick which one worked the best. We've got Red Ace, Tall Top Early Wonder, Ruby Queen, Cook's Custom Blend, and one that I don't have here is the Detroit Dark Red. So we're gonna try 5 different variety of beets. Last category of plants to go through, celery. So we're gonna grow both celeriac, which is the celery root, as well as conventional celery. The celeriac is the type brilliant, and the celery is Kelvin, which tends to do well in warmer weather locations. So one thing about celery is, unlike the other plants that we just talked about, that we do plant more towards early May or the end of April, but it takes a long time to germinate, so that's why we're starting it now. All right, now that we've gone over the varieties, let me show you how I plant these. I'll just go through one of them so you can see my process, and it's pretty much the same for all of them. So what we're gonna do is we are going to grab these little to-go containers. If you've watched our channel, you know how much we like these. And I'm gonna fill this with some potting mix. We use Pro Mix, you can see it kind of back this way, as our potting mix. I keep a container of it here, and it's pre-moistened. So I'm just gonna fill this with some Pro Mix. Great. And why don't we plant the farro cabbage? So first, always label. You'll think you're going to remember what you planted, and I guarantee you won't. For these, I actually just put the label, just lay it down like that, because this is going to have to go over the top, and so a label sticking up won't work. So I'm going to grab a few seeds. For these, I'll probably want to plant about 4 of them. So I am going to put 6 of them in here. That way I have a few extra. Seed packets will generally tell you the depth to plant. So this one says about a 1/4 inch deep. Most seeds do not require light for germination. It will tell you if they do. There's a few seeds that do require light, so you just need to be sure that that's not one of them. Luckily, cabbage is not one of them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna create 6 little indents here. I'm gonna plant 1 seed per hole. One of the advantages of doing it this way is I'm gonna transplant these anyway, and so I won't need to thin them. 1 seed per hole. Great. We'll put the rest back in our package. I'm just going to gently cover those over. And now, even though I've pre-moistened this mix, I'm also going to water these in. Hillary makes fun of me. I use this old sinus rinse as a little watering can. I've used it for a long time, you can tell. So I'm going to water this in. And in these size containers, I usually do about 4-ish ounces of water. But I use these so much, I actually just do it by weight to feel. I just need a little bit more. Good. So now that that's watered, I will not need to water that again until it's germinated. I'm going to put the top of that on. Notice there's no holes on the bottom of these. And this will act as a humidity dome to keep all of this moisture in here during germination. Different seeds have different ideal temperature ranges for germination. In the cases of brassicas, 75 degrees is where we want to go. So this has a temperature controller, and I'm going to drop this down to 75. So that'll drop down. All right, so that is about it. I'm going to get going with the rest of these seeds. They'll all be planted in a very similar way. Next things we'll be planting are going to be lettuces. They take just a little bit less time to mature, so I'll start those in a week or two. One thing about lettuces, they do not like heat to germinate, so those you're just going to want to keep off the heat mat. I tried to think of all the things that people would ask questions about and answer them, but of course I can't think of everything. So if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. Hope you guys are doing great with seed starting. It's such an exciting time. If you're not a subscriber and you like this type of content, we'd love to have you along. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you got something out of this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button down there. Definitely helps us. Happy gardening, everyone.